Hey, whether you're looking for the wide receivers that catch deep balls or you're just looking for those guys that handle the short balls really well, I got you covered here. The top 36 overall wide receivers for fantasy football. Jake, Fantasy Headliners. Hopefully you guys are all doing well out there. Welcome back to the Draft.com studios, where today we're talking about guys who make a career out of catching balls for a living. Yes, the top 36 fantasy football wide receivers. No more of those top 10, top 12 sissy lists. We're getting closer to the season. We need to go a little bit deeper, and I'm going to do it as fast as I possibly can. I may be out of breath by the end of the show. Real quick, before we get into this list, head over to our website after this show is over, thefantasyheadliners.com. A lot of other great information and articles to really help prepare you for the 2019 season. Plus, our draft guide, it's on sale for $19.99. Almost 500 virtual pages of straight fantasy football bliss to help you get ready for your 2019 season. Plus, if you order a draft guide until August 15th, you're automatically entered to win this autographed Alvin Kamara jersey right here over my shoulder. Don't miss out on that. But without any further ado, let's talk about the top 36 ball catchers for 2019. Kicking it off with number one, it is still Davante Adams, wide receiver, Green Bay Packers. And why, do you ask? Well, I mean, really 1 and 2 are kind of like 1A and 2A. I love both these guys, but Davante Adams, in my opinion, the clear-cut number one target in an Aaron Rodgers-led offense, and that touchdown upside that he has on a weekly basis, leading the NFL in red zone targets last year, this guy is an absolute threat. And don't worry, if Geronimo Allison and MVS can command a little bit of defensive attention, that's only going to give more one-on-one opportunities for Davante Adams. He's proven he can win them. Love him a lot. He's my number one wide receiver right now, 2019. Number two is going to be DeAndre Hopkins of the Houston Texans, and heck, I'm pretty sure this guy could produce with one of the haters from our comment section, and it's proven. Those guys suck at almost everything, and he could still produce huge wide receiver numbers. That's how good he is, one of the top options in all of the NFL. If the ball is thrown in his general vicinity, he's going to catch it. Love DeAndre Hopkins. Like I said, more of a 1A, 1B. These guys will stay atop these rankings until the season starts unless something drastic changes. Number three is going to be Julio Jones, and I absolutely love Julio Jones this year. A lot of people kind of, don't really buy into the Julio hype, but I'm totally bought in. The guy is going to get you a huge amount of volume. He's going to get you close to 1,300 to 1,500 yards and somewhere in that vicinity of 7 to 10 touchdowns. The schedule that he has a lot of opponents, which these games could turn into some serious shootouts throughout the season. We've already mentioned 13 games indoors. Matt Ryan's playing at a great level, and Calvin Ridley is going to command more defensive attention. Julio Jones is going to go crazy in 2019. Absolutely love him, and I have him as wide receiver 3. Number 4, Odell Beckham Jr., and a lot of people still want to hate on the Browns. They still want to hate on Odell Beckham, and I get it. He has a diva past, but let's be realistic. Be honest with yourselves. Out there, how many of you would be happy with waking up every day knowing that Eli Manning was your quarterback on a team that you knew wasn't going to win? Now, he gets a chance to go to Cleveland. He's going to be looked at as one of the saviors if they can actually win this season. We know he likes the spotlight. We know there's a lot of other talent around him. Arguably the best opposite receiver of him, Jarvis Landry, is going to command defensive attention. Odell Beckham Jr. may see more one-on-one coverage this season than maybe he ever has in his entire career. We already know that Baker is a step up from Eli. He can hit those windows that Eli could not. Odell Beckham Jr. is going to be a force to be reckoned with, and yes, if he can stay healthy for all 16 games, it would not surprise me one bit to see Odell Beckham Jr. as the number one wide receiver come year end. Number 5 is Michael Thomas, who just got absolutely paid by the New Orleans Saints, and I got him right here at wide receiver 5, same as the consensus 5 also. Probably maybe about as consistent as you can get for Michael Thomas, one of the top wide receivers in all of football. There is no true number 2 wide receiver in New Orleans. We know that Michael Thomas is going to see a lot of targets. He's going to see a lot of red zone targets. Similar to the past couple of years, you can expect it again. Drew Brees will look for him early in the games and often. Love Michael Thomas, very consistent. The ceiling may not be as high as the first 4, but the floor is higher than almost anybody. Love Michael Thomas. Number 6 is going to be Tyreek Hill, and from a fantasy football perspective, the guy is one of the best in the league, and having Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback doesn't really hurt. We already know that Patrick Mahomes can throw the ball a country mile, And we know that Tyreek Hill can run faster almost than any human on the planet. The dude is quick. It's really hard to out-throw Tyreek Hill. Match made in heaven between these two. A lot of what you saw last year, expect it again this year. He's going to repeat, have another great season. I have him one spot higher than the consensus. Right now, wide receiver 6. Number 7 is Juju Smith-Schuster. I like Juju a lot. I have him one spot lower than the consensus, and really the only reason behind that is I think I have a little bit more value put into Donte Moncrief and James Washington and some of the other pass-catching options there in Pittsburgh. Juju looks great in camp. He looks like he's really accepted that number 1 lead role. But don't forget, he was already one of the NFL's top leaders in targets last year. It's not like he's going to absorb this huge amount of targets left behind by Antonio Brown. There's not that many more to give him. Yes, he may see a slight bump, but not a bump to throw him all the way up into the top 5 of this list right now. I do like Donte Moncrief a lot in this offense, and Juju is going to have a great year. But if those other wide receivers around him do struggle, he sees the extra defensive attention, it may lower some of his upside. I think right now, Juju as wide receiver 7 is a great spot for him. Number 8 is going to be Mike Evans, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Another one of these guys who I like a lot. Got him right there with the consensus at 8th overall. The upside for Mike Evans is huge, especially in a Bruce Arians offense. Last season had the quietest 1,500-yard season maybe ever in the NFL. And now you get the offensive mastermind of a Bruce Arians. Yes, I know that Jameis Winston is part of the concern here, but I trust in the system. I trust in Bruce Arians to get that turned around. Don't forget, Bruce Arians led an offense in Arizona that had quarterbacks at times with, Drew Stanton and Blaine Gabbert, and these guys were still producing Larry Fitzgerald with 1,000-yard seasons. He can make things happen in an offense. Do not sleep on Mike Evans. He could be a potential league winner for you here because right now you can get him around the 3rd round. Love Mike Evans, love the upside, and you know what? They're not going to run the ball in Tampa Bay, so why not throw it to Mike Evans a buttload in 2019? Number 9 is going to be Antonio Brown, and until he really regrows skin on the bottom of his feet, he's going to continue to fall down these lists because skin is important on the bottom of your feet. Last time I checked anyway, especially for a wide receiver that really depends on their feet. How do you get frostbite in the middle of the summer? I have no idea. That's a question I would like to have answered. The talent is there, obviously. The opportunity is going to be there. He's going to see a huge target share. But until we figure out what's going on with his feet, whatever's going on with that funk down below, he's going to continue to fall down this list. However, right now, I still have him as wide receiver 9. Number 10 is going to be Keenan Allen, Los Angeles Chargers, and he's another one of these guys just super consistent. It's not out of the ordinary to go out there and see him get 10 targets on a weekly basis. Now, no more Tyrell Williams, a few targets up for grabs. Yes, Mike Williams probably sees the majority of those, but Keenan could see a slight bump, and he's one of these guys that you can count on week in and week out. He needs to be inside the top 10, so I put him right there, number 10 overall. Number 11, Stephon Diggs. 3 spots higher than the consensus for me. I love Stephon Diggs this year. I like Stephon Diggs in Minnesota more than I like Adam Thielen. I think Diggs has become the big play weapon in that offense. If Dalvin Cook can stay healthy and establish a run game, Stephon Diggs is absolutely going to do work on the outside, and the touchdown upside for Stephon Diggs could be huge this year. I like him a lot. Like I said, 3 spots higher than the consensus. Stephon Diggs, 11th overall. Number 12, T.Y. Hilton of the Indianapolis Colts. I have him 2 spots lower, and the only reason for that is because Paris Campbell is really coming out and looking great in camp. Now, yes, dealing with some minor injuries, but Paris Campbell could really be a threat in this offense to take away some targets. Now, do I think he takes everything away from T.Y. Hilton? No. He'll probably take some away from #NeverFunchess, Ebron, Jack Doyle may lose some, but it still remains that that's another weapon in this offense that's going to demand some type of a target share. I got T.Y. still as a wide receiver 1 in that top wide receiver 1 tier. Just got him a few spots lower than consensus. Got him at number 12. Number 13, that's where Adam Thielen comes in for me. I still like Adam Thielen. Just because I have Diggs a couple spots higher doesn't mean that I don't like Thielen. I think that he's going to be consistent. He's going to be a great PPR option. He's going to be one of these guys that racks up receptions. I just don't know if I see the huge touchdown upside for Adam Thielen this year. That's why I have him a couple spots lower than Diggs. However, I'm matching the rest of the consensus right there, 13th overall. Number 14, Amari Cooper, because I actually like Amari Cooper a little bit more this year. I like that offense in Dallas, and we don't know what's going on with Zeke Elliott. If he does sit, which we don't think that he does over here, they're going to have to throw the ball more, obviously, in Dallas. And will be the main beneficiary? It's Amari Cooper. Michael Gallup's going to take a step forward opposite of him. And Cooper's going to have a chance to just absolutely annihilate opposing defenses. Yes, there's some tough times in that schedule. However, Amari Cooper could really, really outproduce here. I have him 2 spots lower than the consensus, who has him at 12th overall. I think he could be trending up, and I like Amari Cooper in the long run, but it really depends on what happens with Zeke. If Zeke does sit, Cooper could find himself up inside the top 12. 15 and 16 were talking together. Why they play on the same team, so why not? Brandon Cooks and Robert Woods have him right there, 15 and 16. And these guys are almost interchangeable. Brandon Cooks, more of the big play receiver, one of the guys that has that breakaway speed, home run threat. Robert Woods, more of the consistent, PPR option, the guy who's going to rack up some receptions. They're both going to have looks inside the red zone. I'm not sold entirely yet that Cooper Kupp is 100% healthy. Yes, he's out there. He's in training camp, and he looks good, but he just tore his ACL in November. If he has any setbacks early in the year and Todd Gurley is not 100%, they're going to rely on the passing game a lot more. Who benefits the most? Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods, right now have them at wide receiver 15 and 16. Number 17, Julian Edelman of the New England Patriots. And as of right now, I have him 2 spots lower than the consensus, but we really need to find out what happens. Do they reinstate Josh Gordon? Does N'Keal Harry really develop quickly here in the preseason and command a target share? I'm still, one of the believers in James White that he sees a lot of volume in the passing game in this offense. I love Julian Edelman. Right now, he's probably the top target in a Tom Brady offense. He's going to be safe. He's going to be consistent. He is a solid wide receiver 2 for your team. Right now, got him at wide receiver 17. Number 18 is going to be Chris Godwin, who's taken a step up for me, and it's just this passing offense in general. He's going to be playing in the slot in the Bruce Arians offense. Kind of a lot of what I talked about with Mike Evans. Right now, consensus has Godwin at 19. I only have him 1 spot higher at 18. But Bruce Arians is already on record saying, hey, listen, this guy, he's not coming off the field. He had a great year last year, and he's really going to build upon it. He could be a huge breakout candidate for 2019. Right now, have him as wide receiver 18. Number 19, it's going to be Calvin Ridley of the Atlanta Falcons. Once again, love this offense. Calvin Ridley is going to take a step forward. I have him 5 spots higher than the consensus, and he could be really one of these guys that benefits from the greatness of Julio Jones, right? I mean, Julio Jones is always going to command attention. More than likely, there's going to be a safety over the top paying attention to Julio. We know that Calvin Ridley is an elite route runner, and we know that he's going to take a step forward here in this year. Last year, at times, he showed flashes of being unguardable. Love Calvin Ridley. Love where he's at right now in drafts. I have him as wide receiver 19. Number 20, maybe a little bit of a surprise to some people. I got him 2 spots higher than consensus. It's Allen Robinson, the Chicago Bears. Don't forget, last season, first year in Chicago. First year with Mitch Trubisky. First year coming off of a torn ACL. Now, he's had a whole offseason. The chemistry should be better with him and Mitch Trubisky. He's more familiar with the offense. He will be the number 1 option in that offense. Yes, we do like Anthony Miller a lot late in drafts. But Allen Robinson can surprise some people. Don't forget, this guy has top 10, top 12 potential in this offense, which could be exciting in Chicago. Don't sleep on Allen Robinson. Right now, got him at wide receiver 20. 21 is going to be Tyler Boyd, Cincinnati Bengals, 4 spots higher than the consensus, and I am not scared off by the A.J. Green injury right now. Tyler Boyd, yes, with A.J. Green last year, was a top 12 wide receiver. When A.J. Green was out, I believe he was wide receiver 26. But A.J. Green's not going to miss the entire year. Yes, he may miss a few weeks, but don't forget, at that time last season where Tyler Boyd kind of took a hit in production, Jeff Driscoll was his quarterback. Andy Dalton should be back there. New coach in town with Zach Thomas, former quarterback coach. Hopefully he can get this offense on track. It can't be any worse than it was with Marvin Lewis. I love Tyler Boyd. Don't forget, this is not just some scrub that was a undrafted free agent that they just decided to bring in a few years ago. The guy has some draft capital, he has talent, and he's going to be looked at early and often. Love Tyler Boyd, and especially where you can get him in drafts. Right now I have him as wide receiver 21. 22, it's Jarvis Landry. I have him 8 spots higher than the consensus, and I kind of mentioned it with Odell Beckham Jr. Odell is going to command attention. Jarvis Landry has always been the number one wide receiver wherever he's played at, whether it was in Cleveland or back in his Miami days. Now, he's not the number one anymore. Now he's going to get better. He's going to get less defensive attention, and he's already produced with the opposing defense's number one DBs. What is he going to be able to do against their number twos and nickels and slot corners? This guy could absolutely feast this year. I am trying to buy as much Jarvis Landry as I possibly can right now. Still have him as a wide receiver 2 at 22nd overall. 23 is Kenny Golladay. I actually have him 5 spots lower than the consensus. Yes, I'm not on the Kenny Golladay train. And it's not that he's not talented or I don't like the player. I don't really know if I like the situation. Last year, he saw a lot of volume because there was really no other option in Detroit. Now, Marvin Jones is back. They've drafted TJ Hawkinson, and yes, I can hear everybody out there. Hawkinson is a rookie. We know what happens with rookie tight ends, yada, yada, yada. I get it. All I'm saying is those are some potential targets that could go TJ Hawkinson's ways that may have gone to Kenny Golladay last year. He may be big play dependent. He may be inconsistent at times. That's the part that worries me. The upside is there. The big play ability is there. Matthew Stafford may be more healthier this year than he was last year. I get all of that, but I'm not about to throw this guy up into the high-end wide receiver 2 tier. He's still a wide receiver 2, but he's at the bottom half for me. I got Golladay at 23. Number 24, though, is going to be Mike Williams of the Los Angeles Chargers. I have him 4 spots higher than the consensus. I really like Mike Williams this year. He did not see a whole lot of volume last year, just over 60 targets, and the guy had a great season. Now, are we buying, all those touchdowns the next year? No, probably not, but the upside, the potential is going to be there. He will be the main beneficiary from a lot of those vacated targets of Tyrell Williams. If Mike Williams can get close to 100 targets in a Los Angeles Chargers offense, he's almost a lock for a wide receiver 2. I have him at 24th overall. 25 is going to be Robby Anderson of the New York Jets. Jets, Jets. Dude is absolutely killing it in camp right now. Have him 4 spots higher than the consensus also. And he really looks like he's starting to mesh with Sam Darnold. This is going to be the big play threat in this offense. Yes, I know Le'Veon Bell in the backfield. They have Quincy Enunwa, Jamison Crowder. There's a few options there. But Robby Anderson has the potential to be a huge breakout candidate for 2019. He may actually almost be too low in these rankings for me. Not much of a huge PPR guy, but that huge big play ability, it's there. And right now, I have him at number 25. Number 26 is going to be Christian Kirk, Arizona Cardinals. I have him 8 spots higher than the consensus, partially because I think this is the year that the torch of Larry Fitzgerald gets passed off to Christian Kirk, and he could be the new number 1 in Arizona going forward. He fits this offense perfectly. A Cliff Kingsbury air raid offense. Christian Kirk has elite speed, great hands, able to move and get open, and if the pocket breaks down and Kyler Murray has to scramble, Christian Kirk may be the beneficiary of a lot of broken coverages and some huge plays in Arizona. I love Christian Kirk, one of my biggest breakouts here for 2019. I have him ranked all the way up at 26. 27, Tyler Lockett, somebody who I have a lot lower than the consensus. They're at number 20. The reason for me to have him a little bit lower, last year he lived off the home run ball. He had a lot of huge plays. Does DK Metcalf steal some of those this year? I think he does. A lot of people want to kind of pigeonhole, DK Metcalf is all he does is run go routes. Well, if he does them really well. And if he takes away a few of those big plays that last year went towards Lockett, we don't see the same production. We don't see the same touchdown output. I'm dropping Lockett down to 27. 28 is going to be Sammy Watkins. Consensus right now has him at 32, so I'm a little bit higher. I still want pieces of this offense. Sammy Watkins may be the guy who sees the least amount of defensive coverage on that team. And we already know that the guy has the talent. He just has the injury concerns. If he can stay healthy, which as of right now looks like he could be entering the season healthy, another year in that offense, another year with Patrick Mahomes. We know the defenses are going to be focused in on Hill and Kelsey. Sammy Watkins could have some big games, and at the point where you could take him in your drafts, more than likely, he may be your wide receiver 3 or 4. Great value. Right now, have him at wide receiver 28. 29 is going to be A.J. Green. Got him all the way down to 29. Why? Because I really don't want a whole lot to do with A.J. Green. Yes, he may not miss very much of the regular season, But this is a guy who's dealt with foot and ankle injuries a lot in the past. And now he's dealing with it again. He had to have minor surgery. It wasn't expected at the time of the injury here in the preseason, but he did. Everybody's saying, hey, he may only miss 4 to 6 weeks, maybe a couple games here in the regular season. I don't care. I'm not too interested in AJ Green unless he severely falls, and he can be like my number 3 or 4 on my bench. That's why I have him all the way down at 29. Wide receiver 30 is going to be DJ Moore. I get a lot of questions, a lot of comments about DJ Moore. A lot of people think he deserves to be a little bit higher, and I do. I love the kid. I think there's a lot of talent there. What I don't like, I don't trust Cam Newton. I just don't. I think Curtis Samuel really emerges in this offense, and I think Christian McCaffrey eats up a lot of those underneath targets. Between that, if Greg Olsen can stay healthy, we already know he's going to see somewhat of a target share. DJ Moore is going to have big games. Do not get me wrong. The problem is DJ Moore could turn into what Amari Cooper was with the Oakland Raiders. Big game. Going to go out there, score you 26 points. Next game, going to score you 4. Next game, he's going to score you 8. After that, he's going to have a big one with 33. You just don't know with DJ Moore. He could be big play touchdown dependent in that offense with Cam Newton. It worries me. Got him down at 30. 31, Sterling Shepard. I still like Sterling Shepard. Yes, he may miss a week or two going into the season with his broken finger. However, he's going to be the leader for targets in that offense. Once he comes back, there still won't be a Golden Tate, and Sterling Shepard is really one of the only guys in that offense that has any chemistry with Eli Manning. We know Saquon Barkley is going to touch the ball a lot, and we know Evan Ingram is there also. But outside of that, Sterling Shepard has proven in the past that he can be productive in this offense. I still like Sterling Shepard. Got him at wide receiver 31. 32, I'm not going to forget about old man Larry Fitzgerald. Mentioned him with Christian Kirk. I think that they still kind of do him right in his last year. He's looking great in camp. He's looking rejuvenated in camp. He's out there making diving catches, one-handed catches. He's actually out there looking like he's trying to make the team. Like he just doesn't realize he's one of the greatest of all time. He's going to play, and they're going to send him out in style. I think that Coach Kingsbury makes a point of getting Larry Fitzgerald involved early and often in this offense, and he is going to eat at times. Is he going to be what he used to be? No, he's not. But as your wide receiver 3, maybe even your wide receiver 4, Larry Fitzgerald could really help you win a few fantasy football weeks throughout the season. Love him. Got him at wide receiver 32. 33, Donte Pettis. And I'm starting to not worry about Donte Pettis, but there's other members in that offense. Trent Taylor, Deebo Samuel. We already know about George Kittle. They're making some names for themselves out there right now in camp. And is Pettis kind of losing a little bit of ground? I mean, at the beginning of camp, it was kind of like, he's the guaranteed number 1 guy there. Now, I'm not completely sold on it. There's a lot of great young talent that could really split up those carries. Plus, there's 42 running backs capable of catching the ball out of the backfield. Donte Pettis slipped down a little bit for me. He's at 33. 34, it's Cooper Kupp, and this one's going to have a lot of people scratching their heads, but I'm really worried about Cooper Kupp. I do not want to draft him and have to depend on him. Yes, I mentioned it earlier. He just tore his ACL last November. He may be out there in practice. He may be looking good, but he is one hamstring twinge away from being Dalvin Cook last year. And look how much hate you all have for Dalvin Cook. Let the guy recover. Make him one of these guys that you focus on as a draft target midway through the season. Let somebody else pay that high draft premium. Let somebody else think they're getting Cooper Kupp of last year. Have him struggle the first few weeks. You can swoop in, get him on the cheap. That's what I'm trying to do with Cooper Kupp. That's why I have him all the way down at 34. 35, it's Geronimo Allison. He's going to be the slot receiver for Aaron Rodgers. He was the clear number 2 with Aaron Rodgers last year before he got hurt, and he already has that chemistry involved. We know that slot position has been productive in the past for the Green Bay Packers. I mean, yes, it's a new coaching staff there, but it's still Aaron Rodgers. He's still calling the plays, and he still basically does whatever he wants to do at the line of scrimmage. Love Geronimo Allison. Got him at 35, which is actually 8 spots higher than the consensus. 36 is somebody who I have way higher than a lot of people. It's Donte Moncrief. I have him 14 spots higher than the consensus, who have him at number 50, which is absolutely criminal. This guy right here is taking over the Juju role from last year. Now, is he going to go out there and be Juju Smith-Schuster? No, probably not. But for a guy that you can get this late in your fantasy football drafts that could go out there and get over 100 targets. Don't forget, dude is only 25 years old. It's not like it feels like he's been in the league for like a decade, but he really hasn't. He's still young. He's still explosive. He still has huge touchdown upside. And now with all that defensive attention going towards Juju, Donte Moncrief could have a crazy, crazy good year as the number 2 option in a Pittsburgh offense that has really, really produced solid wide receiver 2s there for a long time. Donte Moncrief, depending on where you can get him on draft day, could be an absolute league winner for you. All right, those are my top 36 wide receivers as of right now, early August. We will do another one of these shows probably right around the 3rd week of August, right before a lot of people do their drafts, to make sure everybody's up to date and ready to go. If you have any questions, comments, hey, maybe you see something a little bit different, by all means, throw it down in the comment section. If you want to leave a comment like, oh, you're retarded for this, I'm probably just going to ignore you because you're retarded for leaving a comment like that on a fantasy football video to begin with. Grow up and be an adult. But I would love to have a conversation with you guys out there. By all means, I'm not up here saying I know all. It's not what we do over here. We're all trying to help each other be successful and win championships here in 2019 fantasy football. Greatly, greatly appreciate the support. Go check out the website, thefantasyheadliners.com, and your draft guide, still for sale, $19.99, to help you absolutely crush it once again here in 2019. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your week. We'll talk to you later.